Welcome, welcome. Everybody's at home, us included. So we have a joke for you. And the joke is why I don't really think I think I'll ruin the joke, but I'm going to try it anyway. Why aren't zebras stupid? Because their stripes are vertical, not horizontal. I know I need like a crowd cheering or something. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, thanks. It's really fun to be here. We're going to take you on a little story tonight about stripes. And the reason is because stripes are just so very popular. They're just everywhere. They're just a really strong trend. They're really fun. And the goal tonight is to teach you between fitting stripes and style stripes, which, it's like, are you a zebra? No, no. But fitting lines and style lines and how you can build stripes into all of them. We're going to have just a lot of fun. Is that a deal? All right, so hope everybody's in their PJs, right? Cup of whatever makes you happy. And let's do it. We're going to tell a little story in pictures, and as we go along the way, I'm going to stop, and I've done 6 different ones for you, 6 different examples, so you can look and see kind of what you like and fabric pattern and get ideas and all those fun things that we like to do. Okay, so first we start with stripes. What we know about stripes, a lot of times with certain knits, they are one way and they're the direction of the stripe. So you actually have to wear them going horizontal across your body. So in general, I want to watch out for those type of knits because I want a knit that I can stretch in both directions so that I have the freedom to turn it whichever way I want. What we know from zebras, our zebra joke, zebras aren't stupid because zebras don't wear stripes horizontal. They wear them vertical. Or I don't know which way they wear them, but anyway, this is not our most flattering look. We see the little cutout shoulder. Not my favorite look, but I just wanted to show you a whole bunch of looks and then your takeaway could be whatever you want it to be. All right? All this is little pockets. So little pockets there have been different. Keep in mind that wherever you change and make things vertical or horizontal, it will bring attention to that area. So just having said that, be aware. That's all. I like this. You know what I like about it is it's a real combination of masculine and feminine. And I did something similar to this when I did the stripes and the twist and all that kind of stuff. To me, this is Mark's blouse 617. But generally the gathers would be feminine, but the stripes are masculine. But it's a real combination, and I like it. So this is a good example of a combination where the pattern is feminine and the fabric is masculine, and the combination of the two are nice. I liked it. Okay. This is what we're going to call design lines now because there's no fit in those lines. So you could take any t-shirt pattern, 195. You could cut it apart, add seam allowance, sew it back together. And I don't necessarily like this. I just wanted you to see how this is just a design line, 2 different fabrics that you like, that you want to put together, and exactly what's been done. The little cold shoulder there is just a cut out of the cap seam line, and it's just attached from the notch to the notch, from the front notch to the back notch, underarm seam. That's all that sleeve is attached. It has to be a knit. It has to be have some negative ease to it. Otherwise, it won't stay in place. It'll just slide down. Okay? I wanted you to see, and I know I'm always showing you prices, and the reason I'm showing you prices is because I always circle back to that sewing saves us money. I really do believe that. I think it's just such a, especially with all the mask making going on, it's such a viable skill that we should just all have. And as we become more proficient, or how proficient we become is clearly up to us. And I just enjoy it. I enjoy what we can do with the needle and the thread and the sewing machine. And I guess this is a great example. From where I'm at, I can't necessarily see the price, but I know I wouldn't have picked it up if it wasn't a lot. And you can see that those stripes are simply being diverted in different directions. So where there's seams, those seams are cut, seam allowance added, and put back together. There is no fit incorporated into those seams where those stripes change directions. and change lines. So very easy to do. And so if you like it and you see it, you can duplicate it. We can do this. This is 600 classic blouse, lengthened to a dress, and then of course cut and separated. All right, so this is, you know, whenever you start to do something like this, you really get into a lot of money, because this fabric doesn't come like this. Fabric has to, you know, there's seams in there and it has to be laid out, it has to be hand cut. And part of the reason last week on Thursday, I gave you that whole shear lesson, it wasn't necessarily about the blouse. It was the whole concept of laying things out and purposefully cutting them. So I want to talk about this one for a minute. And I'm going to bring up this one right here where we've done this, because this is going to be done the same way. I'm going to go through how to do this so we can show you how to do the blue, because both of them are done the same way. So anytime you're dealing with stripes, angles always present such interesting results to me. I mean, I just think that's incredible and obviously well priced. And you can see it's done to half. There's just interest all over. When we talk about garments, there's two kind of garments we talk about. One is a focal point, where the garment itself becomes the focal point. And the other kind is where it really lends itself to your face being the focal point. In this type of garment, this garment is the focal point. Nothing wrong with that. But just be aware, you generally don't want a whole wardrobe of garments that are focal point. And also you should be aware that you'll lose interest in that garment. You'll tire of it more readily because it's so dramatic in its appeal. So you want to balance your closet in that some are the focal point and some are just good old basics that you can grab no matter how you feel and go with them. Okay, so that's kind of the balance between the two. So in this case, I want to show you what we did. This is pattern number 179, and I'm going to ask Brett if he'll just kind of zoom in on this just a little bit if he can. We're going to show you, we don't have to come in close, but I just want to see the effects of what lines and cutting can do to stripes. And in this case, I've diagrammed it out for you. This is pattern number 179, and I got an email, somebody wanted me to show them the pattern. So that's the pattern, 179. So the first thing I did is I just shortened the sleeve. And I shortened the sleeve. I took off like 8 inches. I wanted it to be, this is a kimono sleeve, and I wanted to keep that, and that's the reason I really chose the pattern, is it's a kimono, it's kind of asymmetric. I liked all that, and I was going to make this symmetry of striping in the middle, and I really liked the marriage of the symmetry of the stripe to the asymmetric of the neckline. If you're not familiar with this pattern, this was a rag and bone sweatshirt. It has French darts, and so this is an example of building those darts into the style of the garment, because in those lines here are those French darts. Okay? All right, so this next picture is going to show us how to do this. And with the blue one that's showing, you're going to do it the same way. It's just easier because there's only 2 pieces and this involves 4 pieces. So we start here with the 2 pattern pieces and what they look like. And those red lines on the sleeves, that's just showing you, giving you some ideas to how much I shortened that sleeve by. That's all style choice. It doesn't make any difference. On the front there, you can see that what I did is I took the red line from the French dart and I crossed it through center front and up to the opposite side, and then I did the same thing. I made sure that these angles were 45 degrees from one another so that they crossed to give me, you have to have, the angles have to be correct. That is not hard to do. It's really easy to do. Because I'm dealing with a stripe and my stripe is symmetrical, you want to make sure that your crossing is symmetrical. And that's it. You cut it apart, you add seam allowance, and then the red lines all the way around are simply telling you that the stripe goes this way on the base, it goes up and down on the 2 sides, and it goes across on the top and the neck. And then just start to construct them together. So I sewed this piece to this piece, making sure your stripes match. I sewed this piece to this piece, making sure the stripes match, and then you come across in here. What I did with the green lines, when I was cutting out the middle, I wanted you, camera, Brett. Oh, sorry. It's done there. Sorry. I can see that camera freezing. I don't know why we're having problems with the camera, you guys. We've had it checked out and we're not sure, but it's still doing it. But anyway, as I notice it, I'll just, if someone else doesn't see it first, I'll just say camera, okay? All right, so the green lines up there are showing you that when you position this center, obviously because that center is the most important, leave a little extra. So in other words, when these two have to match, you'll have some free play up in here. And then these two have to match. And then once the middle matches, and it will do it very easy. It's much easier than what it might seem like to you. Then I laid the pattern piece back on top, and I had extra along the top because I had left extra, and then I cut it exactly. So don't cut it too crazy because it gets too out of whack. Cut this exactly where you need it to be. Once you've cut it, you're just going to add a seam allowance and put it right back together in all these sections. But then once you put the 4 together, lay it back down and then cut it down. For the neckline, what I did is I used, you're supposed to use ribbon or anything that kind of reinforces it. I used a stretch lace. I loved it because I wanted a little bit of that black contrast, and then I used a black snap going up. And then you can snap it you can snap it higher up if you want or not. And then the back, what I did is I just didn't do any changes to the back, but I laid the whole thing on the bias. There's no bias. Bias is really not just regarding weft and warp. It's also regarding a look. It's referred to in home decor and flooring. It's, bias is just the angle. And so you can get away with that on this. And again, if you decide to tuck it back, it gives you a nice contrast, almost like a collar-like effect, because I've used that black stretch lace. Okay, easy enough. You guys can do that? Questions? So anytime you're cutting and pasting, you can incorporate them into the fit lines, which I did, the French dart here, and then you can just cut them apart, add seam allowance, and sew them right back together. The garment is interesting to view as much as to wear. We'll consider your pattern pieces to make the garment. Is that a question? Not sure. Just write it again and just, so we can interpret it. All right? Okay. Yeah, it is really interesting to wear. And again, keep in mind that it's a focal point. It's probably not something you'll go to grab every time you go out the door because it's just not going to be a basic. It's going to kind of be one of those specialty items in your wardrobe. And again, that was pattern number 179. And we just cut up the front a little bit. I love it. The way the pattern is the sleeve buttons up the front on the one side. It goes asymmetric on the opening. And then it buttons down the back of the sleeve on the back of the garment. So you still get that effect. I just love this. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay? All right, so fun things we can really do with stripes. And you can certainly create a garment that's so unique and so interesting that you just don't see it anywhere else. I think that's probably what I like about it. Okay, then we're going to go on. And this is a Brunello Cucinelli. I know I've mentioned his name many times before. Every spring or summer, whatever you want to call it, spring time, new season time, even in the winter, I make a new white shirt. And because white just doesn't stay really white very long, I love this white. I love this. And I love the combination with it because it can be worn as a white and yet it's not a white. So I used pattern 600. There's a little smaller collar than what I used, but you could always make it smaller if you wanted. I just want you to notice that that facing on the white portion of the blouse doesn't match the white. It matches the other side. So I'm going to show you our version of this, which is back here. And this is what I did. My pocket on this blouse is a little more dramatic. Let's come in a little closer if you don't mind. It's a little more dramatic than the one in the picture. I used pattern 600. This is 600. Okay. And then it has a pocket in it. I've always loved this pocket, and I went ahead and used it in this case. So a couple things. You notice that the fabric I used here is a linen, cotton linen blend. It's 3247. And then 3248 is it's a white stripe, and it's got like a little silver lurex thread in it. And it's just really, really beautiful. I mean, it's really... Can you come in any closer even on that with the camera? Yeah, I want to really come in close to where you guys can see what's going on down there. The buttons I used, it's a new button we have. They're a gunmetal metal button. And they're smaller, so I just grouped them in sets of 2s. And I just really like that as well. So you can see the facing on this side matches this side of the blouse. Everything's done in the stripe except for the pocket. I mean, except for this side of the blouse and then the collar. And those two things are the only thing done in white. And Brunello Cucinelli, if ever you see him and if ever you look at a price tag, you have to be sitting down before you flip the price tag. Even a basic blouse, I think, is $1,000 or close to. It's just really pricey. And I don't think they're anything, they're beautiful fabrics, don't get me wrong. But it's the ideas, the way they're put together. I don't even know that they fit all that great. You can fit so much better. I'm sure they fit great. I don't mean to say that. What I meant is they don't necessarily fit us. We can get them to fit ourselves better than any ready-to-wear can get them to fit us, I guess is really what I mean. Is the back of the fabric black? The back of this fabric? No, the back of this fabric is stripe. This is stripe. It could be reversible. You can kind of tell the difference, but this is actually a knitted knit. It's not a stamped knit. So kind of two different ways you can go there. Okay? Are there snaps on both sleeves? Yes. Do they open? Yes. Okay? Okay. Functionality is the name of the game. Okay, let's keep on in our little storytelling if we're ready, or if we have questions, we can do that too. So here's an example of cutting lines or design lines that do not include fit. So this is really easy for you to do. You want to match, you know, the parts of the body and the parts of the sleeve. If you notice, the sleeve matches the body. You know, I've got a couple shirts like this. I've got a summer dress and I just love it. I made it a couple years ago and I just really liked it. I reversed those colors, so I put the white on top, the stripe in the middle, and the solid on the bottom. And I would suggest that you kind of watch where you're putting the lighter colors. Remember, your eye goes to the light. So I like this and I think it's flattering as you go to do things like this, but just keep in mind your rules. Remind yourself of the rules, or kind of think through those rules before you start so that you can remember, hey, what are my rules regarding this? And that way it'll help you make your decisions. On this picture, you can measure how tall she is from her shoulder to the hem. You can measure yourself where you want it and easily divide those pieces up. This is really fun stuff to do. I would say to you, definitely do it. It's fun, it's easy, and it's a good to do in free time and for practice. Do all the buttonholes have matching buttons? I think you're talking about this one right here. Yes. Why would I put a button on here without a buttonhole? Is that what you mean? All the buttons have buttonholes. Whenever I make a blouse, I use buttons and buttonholes. And they operate and they work. I don't make... Yep. Is that fair? Okay. White blouse. What does the back look like? The whole entire back is striped. I put darts in the back of my blouse always because I think it fits better. But the whole entire blouse is the one fabric. The only thing that's white is the collar. You can see up here is the collar, and then the front of the blouse. Just that one section. So you're going to hand cut the fronts. You can cut the back together. You can cut the sleeves together. And I just cuffed up those sleeves because I love the fabric. I love that fabric. It's just really, it's a great blouse. It's going to go with a lot. It's really comfortable and cool for summer. Is the facing a dark fabric? No? The facing is the same striped fabric. If you're talking about that blouse. Okay? Okay. So let's go on. All right, so here we have a halter. Can I push everybody to make a halter? And let me tell you why. And so I used pattern 619. I love this little angular. Even though this is stripe, 619 is a halter. It's got a built-in bra. So you can do a nice elastic around the bottom, which is what I did on the inside of this. I did a gingham. And the gingham, the gingham is $32.49. I put the gingham on the bias. And I just love that. Isn't that cute with the little white slacks and little black and white? This is $196, just a little cover up. And it's just really cute. And the thing about what it does is, especially if it's a lightweight fabric, it doesn't, you're not going to see this part of you. It just does, it's a great look. To have that little gather at the neckline and then come down, it's a really good look for summer. And again, it's not like you have to wear a halter. You don't have to go around with bare. But we have lots of great little jean jackets or 196 cardigans. This is the 196 that can be worn over it. It can be worn under a jacket if you're at the office. But it's a really great look. And it's very easy to make something up. And you can do all kinds of different fabrics. There's just not a fabric, a knit, a woven, that doesn't look great in this little halter. And in the summertime, by the time it gets to be really warm, you know, you can, once you get in your car, you can take your jacket off. You're covered, but you're like free. It's nice. I love them. For the spring and summer, they're just really cute and really nice. And like I said, inside this one, there's the little inside, there's a little bra. And it's got, you can put cups in it if you want. You can make it as fitted as you want it to be, but it's really easy to wear, and it's very nice. I really like it. Okay, so that's the halter with it on an angle. Okay, so I wanted you to see this because you can just take a beautiful fabric that you love that's stripe and really draw so much more interest by simply making it horizontal and vertical. This is Acris. Yes? How much is that blouse? $800. $800. A blouse takes what at the most? 3 yards? 800 divided by 3 is 2 plus 100. Just think what you could make with 200 a yard fabric. You know, I mean, really, guys, this is crazy stuff. It's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but it's all about the fabric. Stripe one direction, stripe another direction. Very beautiful. And the other picture I did, just so you can see a little bit of close-up, sometimes they'll do some details in these blouses that I just fall in love with. Not any one particular in this particular shot, but in the next shot, what you're going to see, the back is, yeah, that back. I love that, how that back is long like that. I just really like that. And again, not hard to do, something easily you could do, but just make the back, you know, 6 inches longer than the front. Or not. But I really like the look. I think it gives it a little more contemporary look to have that longer back. And then you can roll up those sleeves, and you guys know how to do that. Okay? So this was just an idea that I wanted you to see. Okay. All right, this one again is the same thing. This is just a twisted look with a stripe and the gathers. So being done a lot, it's easy to do. The pattern we have, 617 Mark's blouse, you could do that. You could do it without the collar. It doesn't need to have all the collar on it if you want to, but it's just a really cute look. Okay. This is 113, pattern 113. I don't have the pattern here. But what I wanted you to see with this, what jacket are you wearing? 900. This is a jean jacket. I'll get to it here in just a little bit. What I want you to see is, you know, sometimes we look at stuff like this and we say, oh, wow, I'll never find all those fabrics. Those fabrics are pieced. I just want you to be aware. So, again, that's why tonight I really want your takeaway to understand the difference between our fitting seams and our design seams. Because those are design seams. All the cuts of those are very simple to do. Do both sides at the same time, sew them together, same seam allowance. It just literally takes a little more time to construct that sleeve, but once you do, it's just all back together again. So it's really the ideas and kind of the placement, the measuring, how wide they are, the proportions, all those type of things that I really think make it a lot of fun. Okay? The jacket I'm wearing, no, it's 900. The jacket I'm wearing, $795? Oh, the price. Gotcha. Okay. So this one I wanted you to see because you could do the back with elastic. You could literally leave out the back and use our black and white elastic that we have. Yay, elastic! And just make yourself an elastic back. So just in looking at stripes, I liked how the white and black elastic made the stripes. I thought this was kind of fun. Certainly you wouldn't have to do the whole back. You could do little segments of it. Again, the whole idea was to just give you guys a little bit of ideas. All right. So I had to show you these. Number one, because I had to show you the price, and I just wanted you to see the whole thing. Remember, I can't shop. I can only go on the computer. But if we look at these and see the price, these are not, you know, you can't do a diagonal, you can't do a bias jean, because bias, the pant has to be on grain, and because the grain, you know, our legs are 40 inches, whatever the pant is, if you try to do a bias grain of any kind, or bias jean of any kind, it'll twist. So you just can't. This is all pieced, and you can just go look at this. You can go search for it on your computer. This is all pieced with angular cuts of fabric so that the entire leg is straight of grain. So if you just think about that, the man hours that went into that one pair of jeans, maybe it justifies the price. Maybe. I don't think so. Remember, it's 100% cotton. How expensive is denim? But I just really liked these. I thought they were really fun. You know, who knows, with all the time I have now, maybe I'll make this pair of jeans for myself. Not. Maybe not. Okay. So this next one I wanted you to see, because we have, you know, when I look through these, I think, oh, that's that pattern, that's that pattern, that's that pattern. And I think it's just fun to bring awareness to it. So this next one is pattern number 350. I'm saying one pattern, holding up the other one. 350. It's called Stephanie's Blouse, and it gives you an ability to take and darken the sides. So I did this blouse, this blue, and this blue one here is, the pattern is 350, but the fabric is 3245. Now this fabric, I thought I had a little bit of it, but I'll show you the back side of it. This fabric is actually so beautiful on the back side. It is like a staccato on the back. And it's actually where the lines, this is a beautiful fabric. It's 100% cotton, but it's where the threads of the lines on the front were actually caught in place. It's got a little texture to it. It's really, really beautiful. I thought about, you know, there's so many ways that you guys could do this. Just even, the whole goal is to just give you ideas and let you go crazy with them, because there are so many ways to do this. The goal was to simply take the side and switch up the cuts. So you've got one piece here, one piece here. You've got the front facing here, which was done another way, the collar, the little insert here, and then of course this is a kimono sleeve. So there are so many different ways to do it that I could have switched it to the back side, just a myriad of ways. I think whenever you're looking for a fun pattern to do stripes in, just look for a pattern, a blouse. 575 would be a great example. Something that has a lot of pieces to it. Whenever you have a princess seam, it offers you the opportunity to kind of come in and take those stripes and just mix them up. So just really fun. And I did the same on the back. So you can see that the side panel is on a bias. The back is straight. And then the underarm seam, again up here, there's a little piece up there. That's bias also. Okay? Is 119 pattern sold out? What's 119? What's the name? 119? What is it? $119? I don't know what 119 is. Sorry.
It's from 118 to 120.
Oh, we don't have a 119. So 119 sold out. Yes, we don't have a 119. It goes from 118, that's why I don't know what it is, 118 to 120. So there is no 119. At least that I know of. If you have a name for it, let us know. Other than that, you're just trying to trick us. All right. So that's, as you look through, you know, just relate it back to patterns you have. And if you're not sure, put a bunch of your favorite patterns in front of you. And then as you say, which one is this closest to? That's kind of what I do. All right, I love that. You could have done the solid sides. Whenever you do this, you want to leave the sides obviously darker. That's the whole goal in piecing this kind of stuff like this. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't use the back side. The back side became lighter, and I was going to use the back side here, but then it made the sides lighter than the front. I didn't want that. So that meant I could have used this as the lighter side, and I didn't want that. So just one thing led to another, and you know how those decisions are made. It's just fun. Okay. So I wanted you to see this again because I liked it. And you know, it could be so many different colors. It could be a woven and a stretch woven, or a knit and a stretch woven, or something that matches, or two different knits like this is. But again, it's completely, there's no fit in there. It's completely two pieces cut apart, seam allowance added. And typically I'm going to say to you guys, if the front is like this, do the back like this also. It just looks so much better if the back and the front match, as opposed to somehow it just being a solid red back. I'm almost always going to do something to the back if I'm doing it to the front. Okay? Okay. So I wanted to show you this picture because I'm in love with this. I actually had a shirt on earlier today, and it was kind of like this, not exactly like this, but where the stripes didn't match. And you know, when I first started sewing stripes that didn't match, which has been a little while ago, I started thinking, oh, you know how easy it is to sew stripes that don't match. You don't have to match them. Except you do. You have to unmatch them. And unmatching stripes is the same as matching stripes. It's not easier or harder. So, but I love the look. I just really like that kind of interrupted look. And what I don't like about this top, if you notice the sleeves match one another, they actually don't match the side that they go with. That would have to change. I think that, I don't know, I don't like that. If the top were out there to buy, that would just bug me crazy. But you know, we all have our things that bug us, you guys. I guess we could get over that really quick. All right. What pattern would you use for the t-shirt with the two different color elastic on the back? Two different color elastic on the back? Where did we pick up elastic on the back? That one right there? Oh, the elastic on the back. I would do 195. Yeah, that's a 195er. And you could just, you don't even have to drape that on a mannequin. You could actually just literally, because elastic stretches, just take the elastic and lay it over your pattern piece. You know, duplicate the pattern piece and then lay the elastic over from that shoulder to the edge, shoulder to edge, and then put it, you know, just pin it on, try it on, and see if something needs to be tightened. But if the elastic follows your pattern piece, it will stretch and lay flat when you put it on. So it's actually pretty easy to do. I did a shirt like this a while ago. I just really liked it. It's kind of fun. I've seen this back, but I didn't want it exposed as much as what these were. And so I just made my own, and I narrowed and shortened the exposure. So it was just a little bit in the back and not this dramatic. What pattern did you say to use for the black and white t-shirt you showed us, fabric sewn together, going diagonal back and forth? I think that was 113. 113 was the black and white. Yeah. The black and white. That's 113. It's already been done for you. They just cut up a few more fabrics and put them together rather than just using a fabric that was done already for it. Okay? All right. So then we keep walking along our little stripe journey and we run into this little dress. And this little dress is, it's cute. It's cute. However, it becomes really doable. You know, I mean, whenever I look at stuff like this, I think it's really hard to buy a dress like this that fits. Because there's so many variables with all of us. It's not hard to get it to fit. It's hard for manufacturing to make it one size to get it to all of us. And so, likewise, it's so easy for us to do it on our own. So I'm going to start with pattern 4200, which is the princess line sheath dress. You're going to cut the middle panel. You're going to make no changes to it. You cut off the top. All you do is add stripes that are exactly the length of the fabric you cut off. So you still have a shoulder seam just like you normally have. So the side panel, you can see, goes straight all the way down the middle. Then we're going to take a closer look at the side of this dress. And all of this is not fit. It's just styling. And it's turning the stripes. So you can see where they've cut that little side piece. They've cut a little waist piece, they've cut a pocket, and then it goes on down. So it's just cutting and pasting that side panel. The center back and the center front are the same. The only suggestion I would do on this personally is the bottom of the dress is wide It's probably wide because of the stripes, and they just followed the stripe all the way down. But in that side seam, you could actually bring that stripe in and give it a little narrower look at the bottom, and it would be more flattering. That's the only suggestion I would have. But I think it's a really cute little summer dress, and it's easy enough. You guys could do this. The goal is to distinguish style lines and fit lines. And all of those going down the side are just style lines. Cut apart, seam allowance added, put back together. The back, there's just elastic added in. That's even easier. But you remember, you don't have to do the back like they did the back. That's what I like about doing it. You could make it higher. You could make those straps shorter. You've got the fit of that princess seam back that fits over the back of you very nicely. And so you don't have to follow it exactly. This was just an idea. I just wanted to throw this out there so you can see how to look at the dress, how to take it back to a pattern, and then differentiate your fit and style lines and go from there. Okay? Very good. Thank you. Okay. This is pattern 314. 314 is one of our PBS kind of gift patterns. So I wanted you to see this because, again, it's just a play on stripes. It's like identical to our pattern, 314, but it's simply how they've turned up the stripes and how they've placed buttons on there. So I love it. And I even like the angle. Remember, though, when you do something like that, it brings the attention to the area that's, the angle. So you're definitely going to look down at hips as opposed to looking upwards, which is, it's okay. As long as you guys recognize that, then we're good to go. Okay? So this, again, if your fabric is not like this, if you can find fabric like this, which is really not easy to do, but if you can find fabric like this, you can just, obviously, this is the way it's laid out. But if you can't, you certainly, if you notice right below those little stripes there before it starts to get to the widest, thickest stripe, you just cut and add a seam. And you can actually do the fabric that way and then just place the pattern on top. So it just takes an extra little bit of thought, takes a little bit of idea, and you first have to like it. I think that always comes into play. You definitely have to like it first. So the reason I wanted to show you this is because we are getting into bows, and bows for spring are like incredible. They're all over the place. If I could show you some of the bow pictures, I've been kind of, focusing on bows. There's a lot of them, and they're big, and they're at the neck. And I actually tried one on before everything kind of closed down. And I liked it, but it was just too much bow. For me, it was just a lot. Like when I look at that picture, I really like it. But when I had it on, it's just too close to the face and it's just too much bow. But I used pattern 719. This is the one I have on. Well, this is the beginning thought. I wanted you to see that ombre fabric, which I love. It's absolutely beautiful. Let's go to the next one. And I think it leads into the one I have on, yeah. So this was 719 is the pattern I thought was closest to it, 719. It's called DVF's blouse, Diane von Furstenberg's blouse. So what it is 600 is the base. It's got a tie. It comes through, it crisscrosses. So it's the one I have on. And it crisscrosses at the neck and goes through buttonholes, comes around to the front and ties. So literally just like this one, it slips over your head. I tucked mine into my pants and then I put a little jean jacket on top of it. But I love the look. If you look at the back, I did the back just like this one. So the back side matches the front. The wider stripe and the narrower stripe matches also. The fabrics I used are 3251 and 3252. You need like a yard of each. So just a fun little blouse. There's lots of things you can do with it. I certainly could wear it with not just a jean jacket, but many other things. Black and white is just such a classic. It is, just love it. And then the jean jacket, that was our pattern of the month. So that's what I chose to put it with. 196 is also a good combination. I think I wear 196 all summer long. It just depends on where you're going, what you're wearing it with, all that kind of stuff. Okay? Okay. Okay, so I have something too I want to show you. And again, this was talking about, thanks Benjamin, follows photos. This is really just talking about playing with patterns. And what I did is I took a pattern, and in this case, I took number 511. 511 is called Angie's Top, sorry. It was a BCBG, is the company that it was originally. And because it has a bunch of seams, I thought it'd be just so interesting in stripes. It's a shawl collar. It isn't this low when it's on you, but because these mannequins are not, these mannequins I have are full scale, but these little things are not full scale. But it just shows you the top. This is just so incredibly cute on. The fabric, first off, is $30.33, and it's on sale, $30.33. I wanted you to see where in this fabric, and many stripes, the one I have on included, many stripes, especially when you're dealing with a dark and a light. If you put the stripe, if you just fold it in half, what you see as you see through the stripe, let's try to get closer on this if we can. What you see as you see through the stripe is you see the stripe of the other side coming through that fabric. So that means whenever you're doing facings or linings or anything like that, you've got to be really careful. So right here on this middle piece right here, that was laid exactly on the same colored stripe. So it's what I was talking about when I was talking about shears, so that you don't see anything behind there, because actually the same exact stripe is right behind that. So when I was talking the other day about shears, I was referring to shears, but there's other fabrics that have to be done, like that shadowing is what I was talking about. If you haven't watched it, you can just go back and watch it, because otherwise this becomes, I think, kind of ruined. You really can't, it just looks terrible. If you can see stripes through, it looks cheap. It looks dirty. Sometimes I think are probably better verbs that, or adjectives that show how it looks. And so you really want it to have a cleaner look, and the best way to do that is to just lay it down so that the pieces actually, the stripe is right behind the stripe that's there. And it's amazing the difference. It's pretty, it's fresh, it's clean, it looks really nice. But this is a great example of a pattern that has a lot of pieces to it that simply, you can just have fun with stripes. So this has obviously the front that would bias, this which is horizontal, this which is vertical, and then of course the sleeve, that I put straight also. And it goes around to the back, and it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. I mean, with a cute little pair of white jeans or white leggings, it's just great for spring, great for summer. I use the pearl buttons to hold that in place, and then the sleeves roll up. In the pattern, it has a little tab at the side. I opted to do a little slit instead. So I didn't change the pattern so much as I just stopped stitching and did a little opening of slit on the side. And that was just because I wanted to give it a more casual look. And the back of this blouse is longer than the front of this blouse anyway, so I made 0 pattern changes. All I did was simply, it was how I laid it out on the stripe fabric. And I've loved that stripe ever since it came in, and so it was my excuse to play with it and show you something fun. So 511, that was my excuse. What color thread did you use for the seam of the purple white stripe? So when you're doing a stripe and it's got a white in it, you're going to want to go to the white. Even if it's a black and white, you're going to want to go to the white. If it's a thin stripe, this is only a 1/2-inch stripe. So unless you're doing the 2-inch wide or your 3-inch or 4-inch wide, don't try to match the thread, because, like right here, it's so insignificant. Right here there's white top stitching, and I don't even know that you'd notice it. Even if, we're going to get close in, I don't even know that you'd notice. And if you go darker, you'll notice it. If you go lighter, you won't notice it. So you really want to go lighter when you're doing those white and something, or even if you're doing yellow and green, you'd go to the lighter color of the threads when you're doing that top stitching. And notice also, it's the color pants I would wear, it's the buttons that I went with, it's kind of everything went to the lighter side as opposed to the darker. Okay? All right. So that's my stripe story. That's the skinny on stripes. And zebras aren't stupid. Somebody told us that joke, and I have to use it over and over, so they make sure that I actually used what they suggested. So it's really more behind the scenes, and I keep saying this. They wear vertical stripes, not horizontal. And I've sent out a couple zebra stripe little cute jokes. I've got some more that I found on the internet, so just beware in the emails the next few days, you guys. I'm sorry, but I just have to use up my little zebra jokes. This is the only time this summer I'll get to use them. All right, so we've got a few minutes left. We can answer questions. Number one, this Saturday we're gonna do a sew along. We're gonna do a sew along. We've done two. This will be our third. This sew along, what I'd really like to do it for is for donation for Feeding America. We've all noticed the very long lines of people who are out of job and out of food and who really need some help. It's just an easy opportunity to help. We're going to donate our time as far as the sew along goes. And if you have donated, don't feel like you have to donate. You can watch without donating. But we're simply we'll put up a link before the webcast. We'll get it up by Friday. And it'll be a link to Fit to Stitch. Fit to Stitch is a non-profit. It's called Hanging On by a Thread. So when you donate to Fit to Stitch, we'll put up a special link. We know it will go to Feeding America. So we'll donate it all to Feeding America. Plus we'll offer our portion also. But that way you'll get to write that donation off on your taxes. It will be tax deductible. So we'll go through... And we'll get that all set up. We've not got it set up right now. We're still working with a couple details. All right, so that's going to be this Saturday. We'll have it at 2 o'clock. We don't know what we're going to do yet. I haven't got there yet. I've had too many Zoom meetings this week. But anyway, we're getting there. We'll figure it out, and we'll go from there. I've almost thought about just having a simple mask sewing. But you know what? The second part that we're going to do on these masks is they've got headbands now that you put the headband on with buttons and then you put the mask on the buttons, because some of the people who have to wear a mask all day, it's killing their ears in the back. The elastic is kind of rubbing their ears raw. So someone came up with these bandanas that you sew the buttons onto. So we've got the buttons. We may make a bandana. We'll see. They're very simple to do, but we don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. We'll have something. We'll sew along. We'll have a good time. And we'll see what happens. Okay, so questions. What number is that fabric on the latest blouse? The fabric number is 3033. It's purple and white. No, it's purple. Yeah, it has a blue cast to it, but it is purple. It's a purple white. Do you pre-wash all your fabrics before you're cutting? I do. I throw them in the washer, throw them in the dryer. Yes. What pattern did you use for your black pants? You're wearing them. These are my three-piece the Slim Yoga. So when top stitching wide striped fabric, should the thread color alternate? That is your garment. You're wearing it. You get to choose, but I do. Yes, I do. Buttonholes scare me. Well, I can see why, because you know what? Your garment's all done, and if you screw up a buttonhole, I can see why they scare you. Do you have a button tutorial? I shouldn't have a button tutorial. Where you should really get that from, because every machine is different. You should have you should take it to your machine person, whoever your machine person is. Do you have a machine person? But you know, look, if you don't have an accurate machine, you have every right to be terrified, because you can do one button and have it right and do another button and not have it right. I kind of buy a sewing machine for buttonholes. If you're that nervous about them, you can always go and pay to have them made. And they're not that expensive. You can go to your dry cleaners and say, here, can you go to an alteration store. They'll make your buttonholes. Eventually you'll get over it, because you'll get tired of paying the extra money to make the buttonholes, and you'll say, hey, I can do this. But you know what I do always do? Whenever I'm making buttonholes, like here I made 2, 4, 6, I always do the bottom one first, because I figure that if I mess up, it won't be right there, it'll be down there. So I always have a tendency to do the bottom buttonhole first, and that's after I've got a good machine, but it's just, you just never know what can go wrong. But you can take a buttonhole out too, let's face it. I don't know what I was doing the other day, but the buttonhole screwed up, it jammed, can't remember what it did, but I took the buttonhole out. I'm not going to tell you it didn't take me 30 minutes to take that buttonhole out, but you just get a little pair of scissors. We've got these really cool little scissors. They're Kai, and they have a little curved blade, and they're just wonderful. And you just clip the threads on the top, and you clip the threads on the bottom. maybe I could give you a tutorial on how to screw up a buttonhole and how to fix it. Because remember, you're not cutting a buttonhole until it's right. So stitch away. If it screws up, you can take it out. Just don't cut it if you don't like it. And don't do a buttonhole and say, oh, good enough. It's not. You want it to look nice. These all look so nice. I've gotten to where I like buttonholes because I like them to be nice. Are your striped pants coming along? Oh, they're done. They're all done. I've done and worn them. Been there, done that, girls. That's a week ago, man. You think I wear something twice? Are you kidding? How about sewing the halter top for the sew along? Do you want to do that, really? You guys promise to make a halter top if we do? That'd be fun. It's really fun and it's really easy and very simple. But email me. Email me your suggestions and email me why. Because, really, I don't care about the garment that we sew. I want there to be some techniques in there that you're learning. We've done jackets. We've done wall pockets. We've done zippers. We've done a lot of stuff, on camera. It's really more, I just want you to kind of learn techniques and really just gain confidence. But again, this Saturday, it's all about Feeding America. To me, it's, we can do this. We can all donate $5. There's thousands of us watching. If we donate $5, all of it goes to Feeding America Plus. So, you know what? It's just a good thing. What sewing machine makes buttonholes? What sewing machine? My sewing machine is a designer Topaz 50. Is that what you're asking? Mine's a Viking. They all make buttonholes. Mine has a buttonhole attachment. I don't ever put that on. I guess you're supposed to make them better, but mine it makes it fine without, and I don't feel like putting it on. What about halter tops for those us extra well endowed? I'm not confident a built-in bra will support my triple D bust line. Girl, I have sympathy. Okay. So you don't worry about the built-in bra. I mean, you can do the built-in bra just to kind of give you confidence, but just wear your regular bra. Let the bra straps show. You're not going to wear it without anything anyway. So don't worry about the halter giving you support. Wear your regular bra, make the halter, and then just put a little jean jacket over it or put a little wrap or, anything that you want to wear over it, and that'll cover the bra straps. So we don't have to hold up the girls. If it's not possible, it's okay. Okay, what was that? What jacket and plaid did you make to go with the striped pants? Email me. Sorry, I do not remember. You guys, right now I'm sewing for Fit to Stitch. And if you could see the number of garments I've produced in the last week, I don't think I've left this room. There's like clothes everywhere. It's like a mess. In fact, for Saturday, I'm going to have to spend some serious time in here just putting clothes away. It's really bad. So my brain is totally fried on clothes. I'm sorry. Right now, it's just a little bit crazy. Do you make your buttonhole horizontal or vertical for a blouse? For a blouse, it's always vertical. Vertical means you don't want the garment to move. Horizontal means you want it to move. So the top of a pair of pants, a jacket, blouses are vertical. They're the base layer. You don't want them to shift. So they're vertical. That's the rule. Can we see how you put in the bra and the halter top? Can you see it like right now? You guys, you got to get the pattern. The pattern shows it all to you. I mean, it's very simple to do. This is a really easy project. Maybe that's not a bad idea. If it was so easy, would you guys actually do it? It's really simple to do. I love the pattern because it's just really easy. Okay, let's make it official. We're doing 6/19 this Saturday. How's that? All right, 6/19 is our sew along for Saturday. This is Tuesday. Get it ordered, and you can, you can have it by Saturday. We ship every day. 6/19, it's official. And then I do want to do a mask. I might do a little mask too, because, you knew it wasn't going to take long before these masks are starting to turn fashionable. And that's exactly what happened. I got a call from somebody today who wants, I'm talking professional, who wants me to do a pattern for the bandana that will hold the mask. So they want the mask, the bandana, the buttons, all color coordinated because they're going to start selling them as fashion. And you knew this was going to come, right? And it's like the one who does it the fastest gets the notoriety for it. I'm not trying to do it fast. I'm going to do it, but I've got to do a pattern for this guy anyway. So I'll do the pattern for the bandana, and I'll put it on a grid. We've already got the mask done on a grid, but they're really cute. I mean, it really is kind of cute, and you can get it to match your halter. How's that? We'll do that. You guys, we're crazy. We've really lost our sanity. We've been in the house way too long. All right. You've got all the fabrics. You've got all the patterns. We are doing the sew along the Saturday. We'll put up a link for it. Until then, you guys, happy sewing from Silhouette Patterns, and we'll see you on Saturday. We'll see you on Thursday. We've actually got a YouTube for you. Bye.